Bullying is happening everywhere, all the time, isn't it? We have structured the world in such a way, at least the commercial forces on the planet, constantly telling you, you are exclusive. And once we breed this exclusiveness, bullying is natural. This has to change, but that's not going to change overnight. That needs lots of work on humanity.
Sadhguru, there's a lot of violence going on in the world now, and even my daughter was doing a paper on bullying in schools. So I found myself wanting to be able to explain to her what the source of violence is, and I wasn't too good at it. So I was wondering if you could speak to that, and then what somebody like myself could do to assist in the schools. Help.
See, if they do not train in school, how will they live in this world which is full of bullying anyway? The more powerful are always bullying the less powerful, whether it is in the form of nations, or in the form of communities, or in the form of individual human beings. Bullying is happening everywhere, all the time, isn't it? We have structured the world in such a way, if you don't learn to bully enough, at least in the society's eyes, you don't get anywhere. Either your bullying is crude, just on the strength of your muscle, or it is in subtle ways. But bullying is happening all over the place. I want you to understand. The world, the international situation is not any different from the street corner. Just the same way, isn't it? The strong lean on the weak in so many ways. It is still a caveman's world of survival of the fittest, conducted in a more cunning manner, not straightforward. So, the way the world runs right now is just by bullying. So you're producing leaders in the school. Those who bully well could become leaders tomorrow. So as a part of this, now we are in the process of starting a Isha Leadership Academy. Of course, it'll have a basic MBA program, but the more important vision for this is to develop leaders in all levels. A housewife, maybe we'll have a weekend management and leadership course for her. Because anybody who can impact 5–10 people is a leader. Maybe a local small-time vegetable vendor, he every day meets at least 50–100 people. So maybe we'll have a week-long management course for him and a leadership course for him. Because we have not produced the right kind of leader. Bullies are considered leaders, compassionate human beings. People with larger vision about humanity are not considered leaders, they're considered philosophers in this world. They're dismissed off as visionaries. This has to change, but that's not going to change overnight. That needs lots of work on humanity, on individual human beings. General statements, slogans on the street will not help. It needs pointed work on individual human beings. There's not been enough infrastructure to do that kind of work. So this is another thing we're doing now. All this that we're building here is infrastructure for an inclusive consciousness, which has never been done in these parts of the world. And in the East it was done plenty in the past, but nothing in the last few hundred years. Because this infrastructure is completely missing in most parts of the world, that for a human being to become a full-fledged, blossomed human being, there is no infrastructure. There's lots of infrastructure for survival, a lot. So bullying is essentially, children are doing it because they perceive that's how the world works. Everybody is using whatever power they have to beat down somebody else. People are not using the power they have to uplift somebody. Even if they uplift somebody, there is a string attached that they can pull you down any time they want. Nobody wants you to be a hydrogen balloon, let you loose and say, rise. They have a string attached to it. For this, we need a powerful, non-sectarian spiritual process to liberate people like that, so that every human being can blossom in his own way. He need not be my way or your way. He can blossom in his own way, as long as he's inclusive, as life is. Life is inclusive. Inclusiveness is not an ideology. Inclusiveness is not some kind of a philosophy. Inclusiveness is the way of life. The existence is happening out of its inclusiveness, not out of exclusiveness. Not a single atom can exist here exclusively, even to retain your form. And you being exclusive is ridiculous. But the whole world is, at least the commercial forces in the planet, constantly telling you are exclusive. And once we breed this exclusiveness, bullying is natural. Bullying is not just because somebody is evil. Once exclusiveness is bred, bullying is natural. Inclusiveness is the only answer. Inclusiveness not in terms of I love you, you love me, just clearly seeing life, but it's an inclusive process. Experientially seeing it's all inclusive, there is no other way to be. Not even necessary for you to think you're going to be a champion. It's not about being a champion, it's about just playing well. Desire will set the direction, but desire will not make you win. Winning needs competence. Competence doesn't drop from the sky. For every successful person, there is a painful story. Painful does not mean you suffered. Painful means there is a lot of things. Competence is built. Well, some natural skills may be there, but it has to be worked at minutely. To reach somewhere, there is a meticulous process. You have to pay attention to little things about yourself that nobody even cares to notice in their life.
By the very nature of our job as military persons in general and as a fighter pilot in particular, we have to engage in the acts that might cause harm to other beings. How are we connected as individuals to the karma of that act?
So all you have to see is just this. Every act that we do, is it in the larger interest of people or is it for personal pleasure we do it? Everything that we do, is it of some significant consequence to everybody? Or are you going out there to fly and just enjoy shooting people? If you settle this one thing, you don't have to worry what you're doing because you do what is needed in a given situation, not what you whim, not by your whim, but simply by what is needed. If you're doing just what is needed for the larger well-being, well, it's a good karma because your intent. You must understand, karma is not determined by the action, but by the volition. What intent? Your intent is, you are fighting for the well-being of the nation. We are at a certain cusp in the education field, because a time is coming when our learning will not mean anything. Our knowledge, accumulation of information will not mean anything, because machines can learn faster than you and deliver faster than you and more accurate. It's important that we shift education from loading up information in our heads to exploring the dimension of what it means to be human. We call you as a human being. Why this is so is, you are supposed to know how to be. If you knew how to be, would you choose the highest level of pleasantness or varieties of unpleasantness? For yourself, I'm saying. What you want for yourself is very clear, you want the highest level of pleasantness. So pleasantness is not a goal by itself. It is an ambience that is necessary within you if what you call as a human being has to unfold. Everybody is afraid today, wherever I go. They're calling me for all kinds of artificial intelligence conferences in the world, and their fear is, it'll take away our jobs, it'll dominate our life, it'll take over the world. I said, yes, if you remain as stupid as you are, it will. For sure it will. Because right now, your own intellect has taken over your life and destroying you, make you suffer for nothing. If I leave you alone in a room, all… If you are capable of being miserable, this means you're in bad company, isn't it? Hello? If I'm with you and you suffered, maybe it's me. But you're sitting alone and suffering, this means you're in bad company, isn't it? You have to fix that one thing, that this one is never bad. Best company you have. We are always trying to upgrade our activity without upgrading ourselves. You want to race in Formula 1, but you have a Maruti 800. It's a wonderful car to go to your office. But if you get it onto the F1 track, four wheels will fly in four different directions. So that's all that's happening to them. They are aspiring for something for which they have not upgraded themselves. Now, the activity that they really want to do is freaking the hell out of them. The success is freaking them, all right? I can understand if failure is freaking you. But in this world, I want you to understand, successful people are the most freaked out people. Yes, you need an upgrade of yourself. Your phone is getting upgraded even without your permission. Hello? Everything is being upgraded, what about you?
So Sadhguru, I'm going to push with this, I'm going to replace the word creativity with the word transmit, right? So let's talk about transmission, right? How do I transmit? Is there a relationship between transmission and Bhairavi? Do I become part of or access the source? Because to transmit, I have to become like a source through which it is transmitted. So, how do I do that then, if I have to transmit? Even if along the way I do a little bit of clever interpretation of it.
She herself is a When I say she herself is a transmission, we've always used the word window in yoga. Somehow Bill Gates stole it from us. because we didn't make it as popular as he did. The window has always been a term where the whole thing is about opening a new window. If you open a new window, suddenly the existence looks completely different. Right now, suppose this is your home. If you open this window, you see the temple, you think this is how the world is. Suppose this is the… you have lived in this contraption of a home. You open this window, then you think, wow, the world is a temple. You open this window, you think the world is a mountain. You open that window, you think it's a jungle. You open that window and you think it's a town. Like this, you can open 1,000,000 windows and still it'll be new because the phenomena of creation is such. So she herself is just a window. Anything can be made into a window. Every wall you can crack into a window. But it's not been done. So an established window is made where more people are able to see because it's kept open. By themselves, they would never be able to experience these things. But now, through Bhairavi, people are able to experience things, know things, achieve things which they would have never done by them. A whole lot of people right now who are every day in the Bhairavi sadhana through the Bhairavi yantra, you should listen to the story. Incredible. I'll tell you about a particular person. This couple just came to the ashram with one of their friends. I didn't even know they were here. They had not done the program. They just came because some friend was coming, they came. They came from Singapore. They walked into the temple and in both their eyes tears came. They didn't know why. They're not very religious kind or very modern couple. So both of them came, they took the yantra home. Their lives changed. They're very successful people. But his whole business and… that's his creativity. He created a new business. He's not like a second generation or something, he's first generation. And he did not start very beginning, he was in the armed forces. And somewhere along the way, he kind of took a voluntary retirement and started a business and built it very big, international, really a few $100 million business he built. And this accelerated like anything. He's suddenly able to communicate with people, do things with people, and the business expanded in a big way. Why I'm saying this is, for him that's his creativity, business is his creativity. And suddenly there's a new capability which he had never thought possible. If you use her as a window, suddenly she opens up a new dimension for you, an enhanced level of
So this couple that came to the Bhairavi temple came because here's a possibility, and maybe I have one other that I don't know is they were here because they were supposed to be here. They were here by chance. They were asking a question. I'm not saying they answered or got an answer or an intellectual answer. When they walked into the temple, I'm trying to understand, was there a question in their mind that got… and so maybe answered is the wrong word, but the window opened and gave them an experience that destroyed the question, answered the question. What happened?
This is a tough guy, okay? He's an ex-army guy and tough guy. So for him, without any reason, when he walked in, tears came. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows something opened up. Someone who's never shed tears for anything and does not want to. When he just walks into a place, just a building, and just tears came, in his understanding, something opened up, and he's right, something opened up. So that opening is a big experience, and above all, you realize that in so many ways, as you progress, socially you progress, in your business you progress, and whatever else, socially, other things add up. In this, you're tightening the circle, you're closing it up. So he suddenly realized something opened up which I had never thought possible. I never even sought it, nor did I care for it. But for every intelligent human being, whether he's conscious about it or not conscious about it, or for every human being, why should I make somebody intelligent, somebody not so intelligent? Because everybody is able to breathe and get oxygen out of air, so they're intelligent enough. Life is intelligent enough. Whether he is intellectually is enough or not is a questionable thing. But intelligent enough, life is intelligent enough, that's why it's existing, such a complex form of life. So, for every human being, this is the thing. Have you opened up to the various dimensions of life, or have you cocooned yourself in your own petty creation, which is psychological?
I said there is so much effort and struggle to design and shape human mind when we are out of book. Is there any way you know, sir, to design human mind when we are inside? That's my question.
At home? Is that what you asked?
Inside home.
Whoa. Who is pregnant? If you do not know this, maybe in northern part of the country it's largely almost gone totally. In south it's still little alive in the villages, but there also it's wiped out quite a bit. If you do not know this, from preconception to conception to various stages of pregnancy and delivery, and as long as the mother is feeding the child, there's an entire established process in this country as to how a woman should eat, what she should do, what kind of people she should interact with, what kind of form she should look at, what kind of form she should not look at, what kind of sound she should hear, what kind of sound she should not hear. All this was very much there. But we must also understand life has changed. Today women are going to work, they have to get into that horrible bus where they're pushed around, it doesn't matter she's pregnant. And all kinds of things, all kinds of fumes, all kinds of sounds, all kinds of noises, all kinds of abuse, every kind of thing happening to her. In some way, we're doing that to the child also. There is no job in the country or in the world where you can take off for 1.5 years and get back to the job to fulfill this. For various reasons, we are not taking the business of manufacturing the next generation of people with sufficient care. We are not paying enough attention to it, for which we will pay a price. Over a period of time, we will pay an immense price for that. But we are definitely not taking enough care about it in the entire world, not just in this country. Because we've got all kinds of social situations which does not allow that space for a woman to dedicate that kind of time and attention. See, being pregnant is not just about reproduction. We're literally manufacturing the next generation of people, isn't it? Is it not important, of all the products that you produce on this planet, is it not most important that we produce wonderful human beings for the future generation? Is it not the most important thing? But we have created a social situation and an economic situation where there is no such possibility to take care of these things. To whatever extent individual women or individual families can take care of it, they can take care of it, but for the larger society it's out of question because things have changed, you can't turn it back just like that. The intelligence of the body is such, if you already do not know this, if a woman delivers a male child, the quality of the milk that she produces is in a certain way. If she delivers a female child, the quality of the milk is totally different. If she delivers twins, one male and one female, one breast will ooze
certain type of milk, another breast will ooze another kind of milk. This is the level of intelligence invested in this body. We have to treat it with that much care. This is not some crude machinery. This is the finest piece of technology on the planet, isn't it? Yes or no? This is the finest thing. In the entire evolutionary scale, these millions of years of work that nature did to produce this, but in our desperation for economic well-being, I think we are not paying the kind of attention that this needs, the kind of care that this needs so that this can function at the highest level and can also produce human beings for the future who are of a certain kind. So how to develop the brain when they're in the womb? It's very important that the atmosphere in which the child is growing up is kept in a certain way, least amount of disturbance, with right kind of reverberations, right kind of sounds, right kind of food, everything. Today, they're barely nourished, the pregnant woman in most part of the country, they're barely nourished. Where is the question of right kind of vibrations, right kind of atmospheres? One thing we can do for this is, every home, if possible, every working place, we can have a consecrated space. Today, slowly they're coming up with instruments which can measure the reverberations of certain objects. We can create consecrated spaces, or we can create consecrated objects, which at least at that time she can carry upon her body, so that kind of, to some extent, it's not the best solution, to some extent it neutralizes the outside impact to whatever extent possible. Or if she lives in a home, the place where she sleeps and other things are taken care of, some amount of respite can be there for that new life which is blossoming within the womb.
29th morning on the way to Chandigarh, just crossing Kurukshetra, the land where the great battle of Mahabharata occurred, and also above all, the sacred land where Krishna gave his teaching to Arjuna, the land where Krishna set the value of being right is more important than anything else in the world, more important than your life. Doing the right things, taking up the right stance and performing one's duty beyond one's self-interest was the fundamental teaching. Here we are, rallying for rivers, passing through the sacred land of Kurukshetra. No blood, just we want water to flow. I just came to some house in a family in Coimbatore. It's part of the Indian tradition that if somebody comes home, the first thing is always, the first form of welcome is a glass of water, always. So this lady brought a glass of water upon a tray. I looked at her, she looked like Kali to me. You heard of Kali, all of you? The non-Indian people, you heard of Kali? Kali is a terrible form of a goddess, tongue hanging out and blood oozing everywhere and all that. So I said, you're looking like Kali today, I don't want to drink this water. The moment you say that I don't want to drink water, this is another thing you must know. If you go to your South Indian home, if they bring water, you don't say no, you sip it. You understand? If you say no, they'll get terribly offended that you're refusing to drink water in their house. So now I know another kind of drama will begin. Then I said, okay, you sip the water first. She sipped it and said, that means she thinks I'm using her as a food taster. And she says it's good water. what she means by that is, I have not poisoned it. I said, you don't have to poison it, the way you are is enough. Just give it to me a moment. She gave the water to me, I just held it in my hands for 1 minute and gave it back to her and I said, drink it. She drank it and burst into tears and started crying loudly. It is sweet, she's crying. I said, that's all it is. This is all your damn life is about. You can either turn this sweet or make it poisonous, it's up to you. That's all it is. The water today, we know about this in so many ways. In India, tirth. In every temple there's a tirth because water is capable of memory and intelligence. Today, much research has gone into this. Every molecule of water molecules which gather and make into water cells, they have a phenomenal capability to remember things. Everything that happens around the water, it remembers. Everything that it comes in contact with, it remembers. It is alive. It is alive and intelligent. Water behaves just about the same way as human nervous system behaves. If you take this water and just look at a certain emotion, immediately the molecular structure will change. If you look at it with a different kind of emotion, it will change differently. It is no more your grandmother talk. Even today in traditional southern Indian homes, if you go and see, water is kept like a deity, understand? With vibhuti, with sacred ash smeared on it and properly worshipped every day. It is worshipped before you drink because we've always been conscious that water has memory, and if it has memory of the right things, it will do the right things within you. If it has memory of the wrong things, it'll do wrong things within you.
Is it clear to you? Hello? Oh, there is people in the upper region. Can we light them up? I just can't see them. If there's no more extra lights, you got to light up yourself. Well, this youth and truth, why this has been on my mind for a long time because it's almost a constant question in the last many years that I've been active. People come to me and say, Sadhguru, where were you when I was 20? If I had met you 25 years ago, I would have done this, I would have done that. You came just too late. This is like a constant vein, it's happening. So I thought we will step out and meet all those people who are below 25 years of age in this country. And that's why the youth and truth what we call as youth or what we call as life, essentially is a certain combination of certain amount of energy and certain amount of time. Time is slipping away for all of us. You do something, it goes away, you do nothing, it goes away, if you sleep, it'll go, if you're awake, it'll go. Time is rolling away for all of us at the same pace. And time rolling away is not about the clock, it just means we are ticking off life till the final tick, okay? When we are young, we don't really understand this, that we are at the peak of our energy only in that time that we call as youth. When you're youthful, you will not understand this, you think you're going to be like this forever. But you will see as time goes by, energy levels are not the same. So when the energies are at their peak, the exuberance of youth, if it could be tempered with more clarity and balance, I think
this energy could become something tremendous. If the necessary clarity and balance is not there, then the same energy could be disastrous both for the individual, the society, the nation and the world. So it's in this context we thought if we can bring some clarity and balance into the life of the youth in this country, and once this is over, the next phase is going to go international and we're going to reach out to students everywhere to bring some, at least a little more clarity and balance so that this exuberance of energy which is only at this phase of life will find fruit, will find fruitful expression in one's life, doesn't go waste and doesn't turn against ourselves. For most human beings, they don't need enemies, they're just doing great. Please.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. It's an absolute privilege to have you among us today. Our girls are super excited, as you can see.
They were excited when Ranveer Singh came, I saw,
It's an absolute joy to have you among us today. Before we begin, I will quickly introduce the panel to you. This is Kajal Hamjad. This is Anjali Chandrana. And I will be your moderator for today, Anisha Koshi. So we can begin with the first question. So we've had an array, a plethora of questions come in from the entire student body. Teachers too wanted to sneak in a couple of questions now and then. But most of these questions have come in from our active student body, either through social media or otherwise, as personal formats as well. So the questions are representative of the mass. It's not an individual question that we will be asking.
A question doesn't need so much explanation.
So let's dive right in. So Kajal has the first question.
So I think the first question as such is something that happened in recent time. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows about Section 377 being decriminalized. Yeah. And I think most of the youth, everyone, me, I think most of us would have gone back home. We're very happy about this. And we talk to our parents and people from the, older generation. Right? So this is something that I do with my parents on a regular basis. We sit and we discuss a lot of topics. So this is something that happened to me and something that I've heard from a lot of people as well. So when we discuss something like this with our older generation, they said, we are not going to debate with you as such. We're not going to impose our perspectives on you. But this is not accepted in our religion. Right? So when I took a step back and I thought how difficult it would be for kids, for youth from the LGBT community to come out to their parents, and at the same time when the parents pose this restriction that it is not accepted in our religion, how does a child and how does a parent deal with it? And sometimes a parent does cut off from their child as well. So just want to know your perspective on the LGBT community or homosexuality as such, with religion, and at the same time how a parent and a child should deal with it. Because I think a relationship between a parent and child is so important, right? And to lose something on that lines is not something.
Let's see, probably till now, largely in the social space, in the media space, in the social media space, everybody is pitching either for or against. Can we for some time not pitch for or against and simply look at the issue as it is? Can we? Look at me, I'm not a prude, okay? That be clear. So, when we say sexuality, let's understand this. It is something nature has put in us. Because there is something called as perpetuation of the race or the species, otherwise it won't happen. Of course, we being human beings, having more brains than body, supposed to, because of that, we kind of eliminated the reproductive part and just using the pleasure part of it, all right? This is sexuality right now largely in the world. But essentially, this pleasure also is come into the sexuality process because otherwise, well, if there was no pleasure to it, maybe we wouldn't be born, you and me. Our parents would not have gone into it if there was no pleasure at all attached.
Yes or no? So we are here because of that. So there is no denying it or putting it under the carpet, that's not the thing. But somebody has a certain kind of sexual preference which has got nothing to do with reproductive process as such. It is their personal preference. Because every individual has the right to do whatever the hell they want to do with their body, because it's their body. But if it is something harmful, you're going to cut your nose off or you're going to cut something else off, then maybe we will try to prevent you. But you're not causing any harm to yourself in that way, then it's your business as long as you do something in your private. Right now, the Supreme Court decision is just that what a person does in their private space is nobody's business. Government need not enter people's bedrooms, that is the law, all right? And I think it's right. But at the same time, why so many of you are upset about it or for it or against it is simply because there has been a campaign around the world. I'm saying the campaign should stop. There may be a few people who are oriented that way, leave them alone, it's their business, all right? Even if you're a heterosexual, you don't go about talking it on the street. Hello? You don't, isn't it? Because private matters must be handled that way unless you give some sanctity to this body. Please understand this. The fundamental difference between animal nature and human nature is this: we are doing the same things that they do. They earn a living, they go around, they reproduce, they die. We also do the same thing. We think a lot about it and we make a whole lot of fuss about it, but we are doing the same thing. Only difference is we can do all these things of eating, sleeping, reproducing, everything more consciously. Because of that, we hold ourselves little different from the other creatures. Otherwise, what's the big difference? You may think there's a difference, other animals are looking at you and thinking, what about you? Isn't it? So, this is the fundamental process. Now individual people have some choices. I don't think it needs to become a national or international issue, it's their business, what they're doing. But at the same time, there is no need to campaign for it or against it. There's no need to campaign against it, there is no need to campaign for it. If you allow nature to take its course, the percentage of people who will fall that way are extremely small. But because of a whole campaign going on in the world, the number of people entering that space has become bigger, much bigger than what it should be. Having said that, your parents being upset about it or not coming to terms with it, if they're doing it for religious reasons, well, there may be a lot of trash in every religion, there is. But there is also some wisdom gathered over the times in every religion, yes or no? So this wisdom, some people are calling it religion, some people are looking at just sensibly and doing what they have to do. Some people read religious texts and come to this wisdom because they're not able to figure it out themselves. So do you have to agree with all the things that they say in the religion? No. But do you have to simply blanket disagree with everything? That'll be foolish. Because human experience cannot be thrown away, isn't it? Thousands of years of human cultural experience cannot be just thrown away. We have to take what is sensible and what is not. So when it comes to this aspect, they know the consequence of this. See, when you're at this age, the most attractive word is freedom. Hello? Well, I come from the 60s. You know what 60s? So, freedom is the word. In this… but since then I've looked at human mind in so many ways. The moment you utter the word freedom, people will end up doing freaky things. Because freedom is a consequence. It is not a thing that you do. See, freedom is not an act. Freedom is a consequence of how I experience my life. Freedom comes out of a responsible existence. If you think of the consequence without taking care of the process, you will always end up as a disaster. I must tell you this. Well, at least 12 to 15 of close friends that I had when I was growing up, they all died before they're 35. Well, some of them, because we were living on motorcycles, they got killed on the motorcycles, rest drank themselves to death, others drugged themselves to death. At least 12 to 14 people who were very close to me, who were around me, all died before they're 35 because freedom. Do you understand? Freedom was the real thing. They became free, and they became free. Death is definitely freedom. So, one thing that young people should learn is, don't utter the word freedom because freedom is a consequence. It's something that you have to earn. It doesn't come as a philosophy. In 60s, we thought it's a philosophy. If you live responsibly, you will see freedom will come. When I say responsibly, not in the sense of civic responsibility, if you retain your ability to respond to life without any prejudice, without any restriction, you will see you will become free. Your ability to respond, if it is unlimited, it is freedom, isn't it? Now, coming to this religious resistance, there's nothing religious about this. Sexuality is a biological process. Yes, the very fact that nature created opposites, it has some intention. Well, some people didn't take to natural ways, it's okay, it's their choice. We don't have to discriminate against them, we don't have to persecute them, we don't have to put them in the prison, definitely it's not necessary. But at the same time, it doesn't need promotion either. Now, when I say freedom and responsibility, this is like this. See, suppose you want flowers in your garden. If you sit in your garden and every day do flower meditation, flowers will not come. If you want flowers, you don't have to even think about flowers. You must think soil, manure, water, sunlight. Soil doesn't feel like a flower, manure doesn't smell like a flower, water doesn't look like a flower, sunlight doesn't feel like a flower. But if you take care of these things, flowers will happen, isn't it? This is the way life works. So, the important thing with our lives is, this is a very westernized approach that we are looking at the goal. We want the product, we don't want the process. No, if you're devoted to the process, if you're truly devoted to the process that you're doing right now, you will naturally do your best, everything that you have. Result will come or no? Result will come or no? It'll come. Just because you sit here and desire the result, it's not going to come. You will only have plastic flowers in your head. Flowers will not grow in your garden. So, this is a time of life. I'm surprised, like it's not just you, just about anywhere I go, young people are asking only this question. What this means is, they are trying to live too early. See, this is a time to grow, this is a time to enhance yourself, because your ability to enhance yourself and grow will not be the same after 10 years, believe me. Your ability to learn will not be the same. Your ability to grow physically, emotionally, intellectually and in consciousness will not be the same after 10 to 15 years' time. So this is a time to grow. When it's time to grow, if you try to live too much, some life you want to taste, but if you try to live too much, you will see your growth will be impeded and your life will be stunted in so many different ways. So it's very important young people focus on growth. Because we are seeing this, like I've traveled across the United States, many of these universities, it brings tears to me when I see how it is. I'm glad, at least in India, most of the students are sober in the daytime. Really, I'm telling you, in top universities, daytime they're all gone. So we're becoming slaves of commerce. Because people have intentions to do their own thing, they're just enslaving the people, young people,
because they want to sell their brand. Because it seems early age, if you get used to a certain kind of beer, that's what you're going to drink for the rest of your life. Yes, they have done research on this, universities have done researches on this, and they're supplying free beer in the school. Tell me, does it take a genius to understand this, that if I open a book which is of some complexity and I want to grasp this, if I'm intoxicated, can I grasp it? Hello? Does it take a genius to understand this, I'm asking? So, you don't have to… when your parents say something, they may refer to their religion because they think it's an authority. You take away the authority, just listen to the words. If it makes sense, do it. If it doesn't make sense, tell them politely, that's not the way it is with me, all right?
All right, the next question that's come in from the students is internal and external validation. So let's take a decade back. You know, the word peer pressure was the next big thing. Everyone said you shouldn't succumb to peer pressure, you shouldn't listen to what your peers have to say, they're probably ill-intentioned and ill-mannered. But we've reached a point where our peers don't have to say that to us anymore. It's internal validation. We do things to validate ourselves. And that's in some form or the other, way more dangerous than a peer telling us, because we can stop them. The voices in our head, we can't. So how do we sort of cope with internal validation?
I think
or the necessity for internal validation?
I already said that most people don't need enemies, they're just doing great by themselves. Now, see, when you say you're a human being, also connected with the previous question also, because you're still not fully settled. When you say, I'm a human being, you have a body, you have an intellect, a bunch of thoughts and certain penetration of intellect, you have emotions, and you have a consciousness behind this. Suppose we were some other creature, let's say we were buffaloes, then body would be the most dominant thing in our life. Biology and body is the dominant thing. Mind, intellect, not that it doesn't have, it has its own mind, but small. Emotions it has, but still not as big as the body. Consciousness it is not truly aware of. So essentially, body is the front end of a buffalo. What should be the front end of you among these four? No, that's why it's a mess. Don't do guesswork, tell me.
I would go for the mind. The mind first.
If you say the thought process…
Thought process, yes.
See, your thought is a consequence of the data that you have gathered, isn't it?
Yes.
In this many years, I will assume you're 18, okay, just for safety, for my safety. In this little bit of time that you have, from birth to now, whatever data you have gathered, permutations and combinations of that is what is coming out as thought process. Thought is not coming from somewhere else. Yes? Only from the data. Do you believe you have all the data that is necessary to know the nature of your existence, the cosmos and the beginning and the end of everything? No. Whatever, if you've read the libraries of the world, still what you have is a minuscule. From this minuscule, you generate thoughts and you say, that should be the front end of your life. This is a European ailment. It's the Europeans who said thought is everything. You know Descartes? You're not philosophy, what are you? Science, okay.
Avid philosophy.
Okay. Descartes said, I think so I exist. I'm asking all of you, is it because you exist you may think, or because you think you exist? Which way is it? Because you exist, you may think. Because most people are in a state of mental diarrhea all the time. They think thought is an eternal process. No. See right now, if my hand starts jumping all over the place, what do you think? You think I have an ailment, isn't it? So if your mind starts jumping all over the place, what should I think?
You have an ailment. Only thing is, everybody is like you only. That's how everybody is. So it looks like normal. That's how it is in an asylum. Just because everybody's hand is jumping like this, does it become normal? I'm asking you, does it become normal? With hand, it's very obvious and visible, but if you pay enough attention, it is visible, isn't it? So your thought is an outcome of limited data. That can never be the front end, it's very, very small. Why thought became so significant in the world is because of European system of education. Why in Europe thought became so important was, they went through a few centuries of very dogmatic religious imposition. They were not allowed to think for themselves. So somewhere in 1700s, they broke away from that. They started thinking for themselves, it looked like liberation. But now the same thought is freaking people to death. See, if I leave you alone in a room all by yourself, I will give you food and shelter and everything, all good care for you. Only thing is, nothing to do. You will freak yourself to death, believe me. So, with that kind of a mind, you want that to be the front end? So, thought is a very, very limited thing. In the yogic culture, there is no significance to thought. We don't care what you think and feel. That may sound a little abrasive, but why I'm saying this is because we know what you can think and feel. It does not mean you are ever exploring anything new with your thought. You're only recycling the old data bin that you have. Endless recycling of what you already have. Nothing new will ever happen. This is why societies are going on talking the same rubbish forever. Centuries after centuries, they're discussing the same damn thing. We still can't figure out, well, the most fundamental thing, the biology, sexuality, we can't figure it out after millions of years of existence because thought-based. You pay attention, simply you know what it is. You don't have to think about it. Only because we're thinking about it, it's getting all distorted in the mind. Otherwise, biology is quite clear-cut. There is no need to exaggerate it, nor to… Yes, there is no need to play it up or play it down, it is there to the extent it is there. In different creatures, it's at different levels. In different human beings also at different levels, you just do it, leave it at that level. It's just one more aspect. It's a physical platform for our existence, biology, isn't it? Now, you must decide what should be your front end. You must decide.
I will… So, pretty…
See, it's not me who's dodging the questions, okay?
To be honest, I think it's still unclear to me, to be very honest. But I think the tangent that we will have to discover will
No,
come
there
in
is no
time.
tangent. I'm just asking you, is it true these four dimensions are there to you?
Yes, very much.
What should be the leading edge? That's all I'm asking. What is the tangent about it?
I still stand by thought for some reason. I'm probably terribly wrong, and I will probably discover it in time.
Is it true your thought is coming from limited data?
True, yes.
So, if you're coming from limited data, is it true that you can never ever explore anything new?
You can always widen your data. You can always go out there and learn and study.
That is
That's
experience. See,
correct,
please
yes.
understand, life is happening in three fundamental dimensions. Why in this culture all this Trishula, Trikala, Trinetra, all this three is, because essentially your life is happening like this. There is memory of the past, there is experience of the now, and there is imagination of the future. These are the only ways life is happening. But people can sit here right now and suffer what happened 10 years ago.
Yes.
You can, you also can. And people can suffer what may happen day after tomorrow already. So if you're suffering what happened 10 years ago or 10 days ago,
What happened 10 years ago, does it exist right now? No. So you're suffering that which does not exist. Please, psychologist, please tell me, if somebody is suffering that which does not exist, what's the terminology for them?
Tell me.
No, I'm only asking for technical terminology. If someone is suffering that which does not exist here, what is the term, psychiatric term?
Paranoia?
You can…
My teachers helped me a little.
You can call it whatever you call it. I call it simply insanity. No, that is a very strong word because it'll not help your practice if you call people that. But the fact is, if I'm suffering something which is not here, it amounts to insanity or no? Yes. So if I am suffering what happened yesterday or what may happen day after tomorrow, I am suffering something which does not exist, isn't it? So essentially, there is… in this form of education, you have done no work as to how to manage the intellectual process. No work, simply it's going mad all the time. You don't know what is memory, what is experience, what is imagination, it's all mixed up. In this state, this intellect is not a possibility, it is only trouble. I must tell you this, 4 months ago, I think 4.5 months ago, a television anchor in Andhra Pradesh, a 34-year-old woman, she jumped off the 5th floor and killed herself. She left a note saying, "Nobody is responsible for my death, my brain is my enemy." Can you beat this? Well, she articulated it, but that's the truth with a whole lot of people, 90% of humanity. Their brain is their enemy. They don't need any external enemy. If they sit in one place, they poke themselves. So she killed herself, and this… I don't know if you saw this handwritten thing went all over on the televisions and everything. Well, this brain is the most bloody precious thing that you have. It took millions of years to manufacture this brain of evolution. And today, it's become your enemy. Obviously, there is no stabilizing factor inside. When we say stabilizing factor, we are not talking about taking tranquilizers or having a glass of something to become stable. There is a dimension beyond all this. It is on the platform of this life, we have slowly built this body, we built this mind, we built these emotions, isn't it? Isn't there no concern about that platform that you call as life? If we just attend to that, all these questions will just vanish. People were asking me when I was at the Anna University day before yesterday, "Sadhguru, how come you can answer every question?" I said, because till now, nobody asked me a question that I myself did not ask to myself and to everybody around me. I had 1 billion questions, nobody answered. Then I realized the questions are all coming from a wrong perspective. Because there is no profound experience of life. On the surface, with information that I have, I am manufacturing questions and questions hung like a dark cloud around me when I was young. So I said, till now nobody has asked a question that I myself did not raise. But why? If I raise the question, the next generation is raising the same damn question, that means we are not learning a thing from each other, isn't it?
With all due respect, speaking of mental diarrhea and data bin, I'd like to talk about the education system and sorry. So, as students, at this point, I know this has been through ages and like all students feel a certain way about the education system, but there's a certain amount of anxiety that exists within us because we learn great things here, okay?
It's good for your future practice if everybody's anxious.
That's there. That's there. Psychology helps.
Yes.
So we feel trapped because all the learning that we do here is beautiful. Like we sit, we attend classes, and it's really nice. But the concept of one standardized way of evaluating all students is something that seems really unfair in a certain way, and it sort of pulls us down because not everybody learns a certain way, not everybody has to be evaluated a certain way, but the system should work. So there's not this one solution to it. You just can't go, okay, you do this and then everything is fine. The students are happy and the teachers are happy. There's no one direct way to it. So how do you sort of approach this system that is trapping the creative minds of young, nice, sweet students?
That's sweet you added to describe yourself. See, right now I'm involved in writing an education